Hey everybody, welcome back to the Off Air Podcast. It's the boys, Chris, aka Mr. Fantastic, and John.
So yeah, how's it going, guys?
We are back after
A little bit.
after a couple of weeks, and to get one thing out of the way, it is November 8th, 2020. And Joe Biden is president-elect.
Technically, it's now Wednesday, November 5th, because the longest Tuesday is now over.
What?
The election, the long.
You gotta relax, man.
It's now Wednesday.
It's Sunday.
Is it?
Please let me enjoy this.
No, I gotta
turn the camera off.
I gotta work in a couple minutes. No, I'm joking.
No, just I don't know. Thought I'd get the political statement out of the way. We for one stand by the president. Congratulations. Looking forward to what may conspire in the next 4 years. Did you said you were bringing up topics to start with, or how we want to jump into this? We have a few different things we need to go over, some of which we kind of need to touch on from the last time we went live.
Yeah, but you know what? Let's start something for once that's not gaming.
Okay.
Let's start off with automotive.
Okay, cool.
So today we're going to be talking about, first off, Volkswagen's unveiling their first version of a Golf R with a drift mode attached to it for the 2022 model.
The new Golf R. Let's pull that up. And this is not like your typical Volkswagen GTI. The Golf R is almost in a league of its own, and the last one wasn't available in the U.S. It was available in Canada and Europe, but not in the U.S. It's a pretty badass Golf.
Yeah, and even just getting your hands on it from Canada and getting across the border was a little bit of a challenge.
We actually, I rode in one back when I visited in Vegas. My cousin's husband. He was able to get his hands on one 2 years ago. Maybe I'll put a link in the description for that video. Because I opened that vlog with that car, and it was pretty badass.
So this engine is a turbocharged 2.0 liter. Mm-hmm. The actual engine makes about 315 horsepower, 310 pounds of torque, from just 2,000 RPM.
Damn.
It's about 30 more pounds of torque, and 74 horsepower more.
Yeah.
What really caught my eye is just this vehicle's small. It's kind of
Well, it's a Golf R. It's going to be small, lightweight, and also significantly high horsepower for its size. 315, all-wheel drive,
and a 2.0
and manual.
It's a 2.0. It's a 2 liter. How?
Yeah.
How?
That's insane. Like getting that kind of power out of 2 liter.
Yeah.
It's still with a really lightweight chassis with all-wheel drive.
Of course.
Shit, I'm selling my car next year anyway. This sounds pretty hot.
Apparently, they're switching out a lot of the R's version.
Oh yeah.
Of the wheels from the wheels to the actual hatch itself.
I had the photos here for those of you that are watching on YouTube or on Twitch of what this thing looks like. We got nine photos here from Car and Driver. It looks pretty sleek.
It's gonna have a 7-speed dual clutch.
It looks almost a little bit longer than most.
A little bit
in the past.
So, how fast do you think it actually hits 0 to 60?
0 to 60 with 315 on all-wheel drive, probably pretty lightweight. I don't know. I don't know.
You're close. 4.7.
4.7. Okay, I was gonna say
seconds.
5. That's still really impressive.
And it tops out at 115. Sorry, 155.
155.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
Beyond that, the actual rear axle is reinforced.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. To allow a higher torque.
Pretty nice interior too. Looks like it has some touchscreen interfaces. That's kind of becoming a lot more standard nowadays. The car is, I assume manual is going to be an option. As it is with most sports cars.
Yes.
There's going to be an automatic and a manual version of the car.
But
And the interior we see here on Car and Driver is not really a stick, so this might be the automatic version, or it might. I don't know how many speeds this guy's gonna have.
it's a 7-speed.
It's a 7-speed. Okay, so yeah, this must be the automatic version, unless there's some sort of totally different.
Well, no, 7-speed manual.
No, yeah, that's what I mean.
But it. Well,
Yeah.
just to reiterate, with the reinforced rear axle, it also has a very lightweight but tough anti-roll bar.
Oh yeah.
In the it's all because of the drift mode that's going to be coming on, where it actually allows the axles to spin freely.
Oh, that's so dope. I wonder how the differential is on that. Because Golfs historically are pretty damn reliable drift cars.
They're actually borrowing some design features from the actual Ford Focus RS.
Yeah.
Because of a certain drift champion has brought that to the other side of the world.
Yeah.
Can't block.
Yeah. Also, the seats look really nice on this. Some nice bucket seats on this guy, much like you would see on much more expensive exotic sports cars. Also, I don't know if you've noticed, like, on your way into my neighborhood, John, but, like, one of my neighbors, when you first drive in, collects vintage Golfs.
I've noticed.
Yeah.
Actually, before we go too far, the actual price is gonna be $40,000.
40. That's not bad starting.
It's gonna
at this performance level.
It's gonna come in late 2021, and basically it's gonna be the 2022 model.
Yeah, this seems like a really good competitor for like the highest end on of like all-wheel drive drift cars, like the WRX STI.
Yeah.
This seems like kind of up there on that level of performance and affordability. So that's pretty dope.
From there we go from regular, technically that would be a regular daily, to a impossible like price tag of the new Bugatti.
Oh, so we're hopping on that now?
Yeah, because we're gonna knock out the vehicles a little bit early.
Okay. So Bugatti then.
So far I don't see it's called the Bugatti Bolide. Right now I'm reading off the CNN website, but
I have a Motor Authority article here.
From what I'm seeing, it's using a modified version of the 8-liter 16-cylinder off of the Chiron.
Oh, okay.
The actual vehicle's horsepower itself is going to be 1,800 off the bat.
Yeah, 1824 horsepower hypercar. That's fucking crazy.
Of course, their test track, it cruises at 300.
Look at this thing. It looks insane.
It's definitely borrowing all the hypercar like designs.
Aesthetics, yeah. It kind of gives you that similar aesthetic that you see with like the LaFerrari, or what are some of these like other crazy hypercars like
the Formula Ones. Definitely the Formula One vehicles.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You can see some of the style cues with the scoops, especially in the hood, with how dignified it is with these scoops from the hood to the what would be headlights.
The vehicle is essentially made out of
as well as a roof scoop and a massive wing.
That scoop actually improves the aerodynamic by 10%.
Oh yeah, this thing is not leaving the ground. Like, just look at it.
Because of that, at higher speeds with the wings and the actual bubbles on the vehicle, it brings the vehicle's weight suction to 17% more.
Yeah. I see. Like, it's pretty significant, but yeah, definitely like different style cues of like Formula One cars, but also like other hypercars, like the Ford GT or like the LaFerrari.
Right.
Yeah. Look at the brake lights on. It's a fucking X. Like I thought the Chiron was dope, but this is crazy.
Listen how light this vehicle is. It's made out of lightweight carbon and titanium alloys, even down to the screws.
Whoa. Super light and durable.
The Chiron was 4,400 pounds. This one, the Bolide, is actually 2,700.
What? This thing's almost like a Miata. It's like a piece of paper.
My Challenger sitting on your driveway weighs more than that fucking vehicle.
You definitely easily. Your Challenger is almost twice the weight of this vehicle.
Twice.
Like, this thing is light as hell. And look at these wide slicks on it too. You can see some of the suspension there under the brake lights. and this um, 4-pipe exhaust in the center. That's crazy. Wow, I can only imagine the downforce on this thing with how they designed this body. It's absolutely insane.
If you're showing it to the actual fans on
I'm going through a gallery right here.
Again, on the actual back end, you can actually see how the actual air channels are.
You can see the suspension through the hood.
Yeah.
Wow, that's insane.
That's how open the vehicle is. It's oh my god, I can't imagine.
That also significantly has to pertain to the aerodynamics and lightweight of this guy. Like, this is crazy. Look at the X headlights. What the hell even is that? They're like LED. Well, I mean, they must be LEDs. But wow.
More likely they're
this is like Dead Mouse the car. Look at it. It's fucking.
I won't be surprised if he actually buys one.
Maybe. I can only imagine how much this car is going to go for.
Because
and I can't imagine there's going to be too many. Like, this looks like a performance car almost.
The last vehicles.
Like, this doesn't look like something you would see on the street.
The last vehicles they actually built, like the actual models, were ranging from 6 to 9 million. But there's such a low quantity.
Yeah. Oh, and you can see the gas cap is all the way up here by the passenger side window.
That's
and look at there's this big extension of the roof scoop stretching all the way to the wing in the back. And almost like the wing, like it's almost like the flying buttresses you see on the Ford GT. You know?
Right.
The way the wing extends into the body, like into the fender, like it's wow.
Yeah, like I said, it's a hyper. Sorry, it's a hypercar. So
for sure.
Essentially, it's
with over 1,800 horsepower. Yeah, for sure.
It's the legality of actual street vehicle is very like I don't.
Yeah, I'm saying like you're not going to see this car in the street too much.
No,
at all.
You'll probably see it, on the actual.
This is built for the track.
It's built for tracks.
Yeah. Look at the rims on this thing, man.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up.
They're like hubcaps.
You know what that actually does?
What's that? Yeah, that's totally different. What's up with that?
That design I saw a couple years back, it actually is meant to suck in air and force air onto the brakes.
Oh. That's kind of like I can't remember the name of this car. It was like a box, and they basically built these fans into the fenders to actually suck the car to the ground.
Yes.
So the wheels basically act as that, like fans attached to the. That's genius.
Yeah.
I can see. Yeah. So like it's like they have. So it's like a cap on majority of the surface of where the rim would be, but they have these slots, basically just like spokes on a rim, but they're so small and so close to the tire, that must have created like some really like tight airflow.
So, you know how most vehicle designs are just meant, design. Basically,
this is more for function than anything.
Every single curve is a function for that vehicle.
Yeah, no, for sure, and you have to really appreciate that, and it's still a really, really elegant looking car.
And
at
guess
the
what?
Same time.
And guess what? Again, it's still handcrafted.
Yeah. No, I mean, if it's Bugatti, that's kind of the expectation, that's what they're known for, alongside, Ferrari and their competitors. This car is.
Hold on, I'm trying to look up.
This car, in my opinion, is as gorgeous as it is, as it must be, just brilliant in its function. I can't get over the brake lights, and that's all I would see anyway if I ever lived to see this car.
What was it?
You can just see like how far the fender stretches around the tires, the slick tires, and the suspension. Like, it's so finely designed, and so close to the ground. There's a little glimpse of the interior. Very simple, yeah, as I would imagine it would be for a performance car. We have sort of like must be either like a butterfly or suicide door. Not a gull wing door, but like a butterfly or suicide going out and up towards the hood. Yeah, here's a better look at the interior. So you have, you have your, racing bucket seats, Yeah, very. Yeah, this is a track car. Just by looking at the interior,
Interior.
This isn't your luxury Bugatti. This is for performance. In fact, it's actually really simple. Still quite elegant. They have some sort of like Alcantara or like suede or some kind of like suede interior and a whole lot of carbon. Almost the entire interior is carbon fiber. The seats. And yeah, almost the entire interior is carbon fiber. You can see it on the doors. You can see it on the seats.
I believe Michael Schumacher owns one of the Chirons, but in yellow.
Interesting choice.
He basically broke one of Bugatti's rules.
Why?
Don't ever paint the vehicle in any other color.
I'll say like Bugatti has to be in blue and black.
It has
a Veyron. You can paint it in orange.
It has to be in. Basically, vehicles are painted in French colors.
Yeah.
Because that's where it comes from. Because it respects the country.
Yeah, same thing with Italian cars.
I believe
the Ferraris are typically red or white.
I believe it's Schumacher yellow.
Well, that's just him. I mean, I don't know. It is Michael Schumacher. He is, kind of one of the greatest racers of all time. Debatably the best. He's almost like the Michael Jordan of Formula One.
Yeah, but of course Hamilton is beating out the competition like always with the Mercedes team.
Well, yeah, I mean Michael Schumacher, he had been racing for Michael Schumacher had the majority of his reign in the early 2000s.
Early 2000s, he's the one that helped influence the sport back to his actual roots.
Yeah, exactly. It's really impressive what they're doing with this car. Oh, here's an open look where you just see the chassis. Yeah, you have to look at this, John. So yeah. This is just the transmission, the engine.
Oh yeah, no, I was looking on that.
Just stripped down.
I was looking on that. That bucket seat is very, very interesting.
Yeah, it's kind of leaned back pretty far. Look at that angle.
Do they come in gamer chair?
It's completely carbon fiber.
Yeah, it's
with
like
some padding.
Like I said, it's carbon fiber and it's basically reinforced with titanium.
Just look at the size of that gearbox and how it stretches into the interior. That's crazy. That's wow.
Yeah. Right now I'm on Bugatti's website themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So of course, it's been a very interesting.
Yeah, this is certainly a track car. 8-liter quad turbocharged W16 engine with all-wheel drive system, with the Chiron and its various coach build versions. The engine, yeah, it's
it says on their website
98 octane fuel at its highest performance. Or there no 110 octane fuel at its highest performance at over.
You know what color?
800.
You know what color that fuel is? 110 octane.
I have no idea.
Purple.
Purple.
It's
Jesus.
purple.
I was gonna guess blue. Like it's just like fluorescent at that point.
I think jet fuels get. Well, no, because right now on the website it says, yeah, we borrowed some designs to inspire. Basically, what it's trying to say is, it's a homage to Formula One.
Gotcha. No, I can definitely see that.
If you see the actual exhaust pipes, that's off of a Formula One
I
track
can
car.
only imagine it only being on Formula One. It's literally in the middle of the rear fender. I can't even call it a rear fender. It's just an X of brake lights.
That's all I'm saying crazy. All I'm saying is I'm excited to drive it and the crew when it comes out.
And the crew, yeah.
Because that's the closest thing I'll get to it.
Oh yeah, to ever being in contact. The engine revs higher than the Chiron, and a change that necessitated a number of tweaks. Among these was an upgrade of a 7-speed dual clutch transmission, among with changes in the intake and exhaust systems for better throttle response. As a motor authority, we'll post the articles in the description. But this is a badass track car. I can't wait to see how it's gonna perform, what kind of numbers it might make.
Yeah.
So, do we have anything else on cars, or
no?
We
That's
definitely have some gaming news to jump into as well.
Yeah. It's gonna get a little bit patchy right now.
So, as those of you have listened in prior episodes, or if you're just paying attention to gaming news in general, or if you're just a fan of CD Projekt Red, Cyberpunk 2077 has officially been pushed back once again. And we talked about this last episode about the pushback and about the controversy of how some of their employees were being treated under these crunch conditions.
Right.
But with that in mind, I kind of have to respect their pushback again,
because
they're trying to be ethical about how they're treating their employees, but also still trying to get the game out in time for the holidays.
First I was a little bit shocked and disappointed, but then their actual full statement was they're currently making the game for 7 different systems.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, that's the other thing.
Right now, they're experiencing a bug across each different system that they can't figure out what's causing it.
Oh wow.
Each system has a new different bug.
Yeah.
Of course, they have to take more time to actually break it down and crunch. Well, sorry, they have to break it down and figure out what's causing this major bug.
Mm-hmm.
At first, because when you hear 7 different systems, you're like, what are you talking about? We got PC, we got Switch,
yeah,
Xbox X, we got PlayStation 4. At first, I'm like, that's just 4 systems.
Mm-hmm.
Then we're including the Series X, PlayStation 5. I guess you want to say, I don't know what will be another system.
I mean, it is so. We are in a transitionary period in gaming right now, with new consoles being released, and also with VR becoming a lot more prominent. I can see how this creates some issues for launch, as well as if they are dealing with the bug.
Originally,
I still have to give CD Projekt Red some respect though on how they're making sure they're releasing a properly finished game.
Yeah.
If the game comes out and still has significant problems, it's a whole other issue.
Right now, I know they said specifically at first we were gonna do a day 1 patch, but the patch kind of got a little bit too big.
Yeah.
So we might as well just redo it right now and fix it. Make sure it's actually ready to go.
I feel like we're all a little bit conflicted with Cyberpunk and CD Projekt Red, because on one hand, you have to respect that they're trying to put out a finished game, but on the other hand, people have been waiting for this game for years, and it's been it's easily the most highly anticipated game of the year, and there's been several changes in the release date.
Yeah.
So I feel like people are more frustrated about the constant change. The fact that CD Projekt Red isn't sticking to their word, but at the same time, we don't typically see this from other developers. Typically, it's very common for other big developers to put out an unfinished game and patch it later, and then deal with the complaints then. Whereas in this case, we're dealing with the opposite. It's like you can't really have both anymore.
Right.
This is really the state that we're in the gaming industry. Is where the standards are. It's not like back in the old days where a game comes out and it's finished and you pay for it and you play it and that's it. A game comes out and it has patches, it has DLCs, it has expansion packs, and even when it's released, oftentimes it's not officially finished. Even if it goes gold, there's different bugs, different issues that creates a difficult playing experience. You look like you want to say something on this.
No, just having flashbacks.
I'm sorry. So now we're at this other conflict, or this other side of the extreme, I guess, where instead of dealing with the possibility of an unfinished game, just keep on pushing the game back until it is finished and ready to people's standards.
Right.
You can't really have your cake and eat it too anymore.
I think that, again, I'm going to bring up Valve. This is why Valve was probably very reluctant not to actually make Half-Life 3.
Yeah.
Because there's a point where the hype gets a little bit too far that you know that you're definitely never going to hit that point.
I think that's part of it too, is that this is a very significantly hyped game. So there's very high standards and expectations to live up to.
This is the same thing that actually happened to No Man's Sky.
That's right.
If you actually sit back,
however, at a different level, but yes.
Well, if you actually listen to internet historian's breakdown of the actual event,
yeah,
he actually does bring up a lot of good points about. Yes, the game kind of got overhyped for no reason. Even the developers are like, "What are you guys talking about?"
It's because there was a lot of unkept promises, but
there's a whole other issue with that came up with No Man's Sky, because No Man's Sky was developed by an independent developer, and I can't quite remember his name,
the head of the operation. But the guy was exposed to a lot in a very short amount. The developers were exposed to a lot in a very short amount of time due to the hype, and so
they're working.
They weren't prepared to react to that level of attention.
Right.
And so they kind of just said, "Yeah, we'll do all of these things that you want us to do," without actually knowing how to do it. And so eventually, the game didn't live up to its expectations. So it wasn't exactly unkept promises as much as it was. Really just trying to do the best that they could for their game in order for its release.
But
that makes sense.
There's a thing that a lot of people keep forgetting. They actually had the game was technically almost there to the actual hype's expectation, but the issue is their studio experienced flooding.
Oh, that's the other part of it too. They had other pushback.
They had their whole actual game everything reset from ground zero.
Yeah.
And then they had to rebuild it from the ground up. Of course, now you look at the game actually looks great.
The game is significantly better from its release, and it's actually lived up to its potential and beyond that, in my opinion. And how they've No Man's Sky has really expanded it into
its own
a certain standard of its own from its release.
Now,
now this is a similar problem, but by different means.
Right. Like I always say, look at other issues similar and then try to learn what not to do. Mm-hmm. Right now, CD Projekt Red is balancing between either we try to do our best or we upset
a lot of people.
A lot of people.
Yep. Exactly. That's the conflict. That's really the conflict with the gaming industry in general is do you put out an unfinished game and upset a lot of people and fix it later, or do you upset a lot of people by pushing the game back and then having a worth weighted game? And so it is the same conflict, but by a different means, because CD Projekt Red is a much bigger developer.
Much bigger. They finally got their,
they've been around longer. They have a lot more experience, and they have a lot more resources. However, they're also building a whole other level of a game in their production. You know? Cyberpunk 2077 is going to be a massive game, both in its release and in its function as a game. I mean, the Witcher series, especially The Witcher 3, really kind of set a new standard for the size of a role-playing game.
Because when a lot of people think of role-playing games, they think of Skyrim.
Yeah, Elder Scrolls and Fallout have kind of set the standard for a long time.
But this one is I pick up the torch and then I'm yeeting it.
Yeah. Also with Rockstar games as well. Also made a pretty significant. Kind of different. GTA and Red Dead aren't exactly RPGs. They're debatably RPGs.
No,
I guess not.
I think
similar function, but not as much, because they're a lot more linear. In comparison to Elder Scrolls and Fallout. I'm just trying to compare this to CD Projekt Red's titles. You know what I mean?
Well, it's
because I feel like Cyberpunk and The Witcher kind of fall somewhere within the spectrum of the genres of those games.
It's more of a Deus Ex Machina, or
I can see that, yeah.
Because when I think of RPGs, I think of leveling up systems. You have an inventory system, all that.
Yeah.
You have different quests, sidelines.
And you have a lot of different options in terms of how
your choices matter.
The game, exactly. And we see some of that in CD Projekt Red's games. Maybe not to the same level as Bethesda and Obsidian's games, but also not as linear as Rockstar's games.
Yeah, because when you brought up Rockstar, they're not really RPG. It's more of it's a story. Interactive. It's an interactable story.
Exactly, because it plays similarly in function, but not in terms of interpreting a story.
Right.
The story matters a lot more in those games than it does in official RPGs. And I feel like The Witcher historically somewhere falls in the middle.
Right. Because it's meant to bring in a lot of people. It's easy to pick up.
Right, and I can see Cyberpunk 2077 falling within the same spectrum as The Witcher in terms of playability and in build. And likely in size and playable hours.
Oh god.
And right. So then you keep that in mind. You know, The Witcher 3 was in a league of its own in the playable hours, even compared to games the size of Skyrim.
But that was before the DLCs also came out.
That too. Yeah.
DLCs are their own games.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Especially in the standard CD Projekt Red. So. I can see that, you know, we're expecting a massive game with the same, expecting the same level of playable hours and customization, and the list goes on.
Yep.
So yeah, this is, if there's any game that's going to be pushed back for the sake of its release, this is it. You know. Like, it sucks that people keep waiting. People have been waiting for a long time, but at the same time, employees have been working really hard. So,
I mean, they're also working from home.
What is the price of a good game in terms of time and blood, sweat, and tears?
Would this game technically be called a blood diamond?
Damn, John.
I'm not accusing him, but I'm just asking. I'm asking for a friend.
I think we need to calm down a little bit.
No.
Also, so well, no, I think we've made our discussion on this. There is, I don't know if I want to dive into this. I mentioned it a little bit in the last episode about Cyberpunk 77's affiliation with OnePlus. So there was a few articles just posted yesterday on leaked images of a OnePlus watch. So OnePlus Watch Cyberpunk 2077 limited edition strap gives hope that the smartwatch. I don't know. Should I'll take a look at this. Let's see. Let's check out GSM Arena's article on this really quick. So we have leaked images of these OnePlus Cyberpunk smartwatch straps. However, OnePlus doesn't have a smartwatch, I do not believe. So this week OnePlus announced the 8T was going to get a special edition to promote the new Cyberpunk 2077 video game set to release before the end of the year. This was just posted yesterday. Following several delays, new report from a leaker at Digital Chat Station brings us evidence that OnePlus is planning to launch Cyberpunk 2077 edition of the yet-to-be-unveiled OnePlus watch. So yeah, OnePlus has not revealed a watch. They don't have a watch. They're not like Samsung or Apple where they don't have a smartwatch. This image shared via Chinese microblogging platform Weibo shows a black silicone wrist strap with yellow accents. The strap has both OnePlus and Cyberpunk branding. Though we still do not have, we still don't know what the watch itself is going to look like. So we just have photos of the straps. So it seems like, yeah, this looks pretty legit. Photos of a watch strap. It has OnePlus and Cyberpunk brandings. It's in black and yellow with very Cyberpunk aesthetic to it. This is interesting. So yeah, the OnePlus watch was last reported about last week with claims that, that the company's first wearable would be further delayed, just like the game. It was initially reported that the OnePlus watch would arrive by the end of October, but the same reporter announced that the watch's announcement is on hold for the time being. The company hinted that a watch was coming soon, but OnePlus is yet to set a date for the watch's announcement. So that's interesting. Perfect segue too into tech news.
Oh boy.
I mean, it's interesting, and I guess it's just a matter of time for OnePlus to put out a watch to compete with Samsung and Apple, and I assume it would use Wear OS technology since OnePlus is a Android device, or OnePlus is, as a company, their devices are Android devices, so it would likely be using Wear OS. Could potentially have a skin on it, just like historically OnePlus's Oxygen OS, I believe. Just like Samsung, OnePlus has a slightly dignified version of Android on their devices. So we'll probably see something similar on the watch. Will it be a square? Will it be a circle? Who knows?
Rectangle.
Maybe. Shit. It's like a smaller phone on your wrist, basically.
I got a watch on my phone,
Yeah.
and I got a phone on my watch.
I got a phone for a watch, and I got a watch for a phone.
And I just got a report right now that the Witcher Witcher season 2 has been halted for
Let's hop into that real quick in Netflix news.
yeah. Right now they just halted production due to some cases on set.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So far Henry Cavill is okay, as far as I hear.
Oh shit. Let's see if there's any. No, not images. Yeah, hence halt production due to COVID outbreak again. We got this is on PC Gamer. So yeah, filming. I need my glasses. Excuse me one second.
Nerd. Says the one that's wearing glasses right now.
I'm sorry. So yeah, filming the second season of Netflix's adaptation of The Witcher has been paused due to an outbreak of COVID on set. Deadline reports. 4 people working on the show have tested positive, and according to the Deadline, those impacted have been isolated and are not among the lead cast. So that's good. So yeah, I mean, just like you said, I'm sure Henry Cavill and other lead cast members are probably updating on social media about their condition.
Yeah. What was it? More likely it's gonna be the stagehands and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's what I imagine. It's likely, tech. It could be, it could be anyone. You know, it could be makeup, could be costume, could be camera operators, editors, directors. Who knows? So back in March, a production was halted for 2 weeks due to the pandemic, a delay that was then extended to several months when Christopher, I can't pronounce that last name, sorry.
Tormund.
No. Who played it? Well, I mean, yeah, it is Tormund, but Game of Thrones had been cast as Nouvelle in The Witcher tested positive.
Yes.
I forgot about that. Yeah, that he did test positive. Any update on that?
I don't see a memorial, so he's still alive.
I mean, yeah, but you know what I mean. Let's Google Tormund real quick. I don't know. I mean, everything really goes back to the same halt. Hopefully he's doing well. Hopefully the lead cast, hopefully in general, casting crew on The Witcher is doing well. Let's see. Production eventually resumed in mid-August from the last halt. So what to expect from season 2?
I do know we're gonna be seeing the mentor for Geralt.
Yeah. Let's dive into this really quick, because I also have news for Netflix in general, which is a whole different discussion.
Oh no, raising
The
prices.
return of cable?
No,
They're not raising prices.
I saw they were gonna be raising prices.
Really?
Yeah.
We'll talk about that too. So another article here on The Witcher. So The Witcher on Netflix season 2 release date estimate, episode recaps, and more. So the skepticism is behind us now. The Witcher TV show adaptation by Netflix initially seemed like a long shot, but it turned out to be one of our favorite shows of 2019. Absolutely. Henry Cavill absolutely nailed Geralt softly with a gruff exterior act and is some convincing enough sword swinging to boot. I'm going to skip a little bit in terms of just recapping from last season. And I guess spoiler warning?
I mean, it's only 8 episodes.
Yeah, I mean, if definitely check it out if you haven't already. I mean, it came out last year.
Yeah.
But also, it should have been on your list during the pandemic, during quarantine. If you didn't watch it last year, you should have watched it during quarantine. Or if you're watching it now, you don't have anything else better to do.
It's good. if you're not hooked on by episode 3, then don't.
Yeah.
Then don't.
So there still wasn't any official release date. Likely sometime next year in 2021, which only makes sense. And that's according to showrunner Lauren Hisrick, sorry. Yeah, a more specific date has been chosen yet. Netflix has made the wise decision to suspend production on all of its shows during the first several months of the coronavirus pandemic. The Witcher cast reunited on set on August 17th. So yeah, production was back in swing, but they just recently decided to halt with a few, members on set testing positive.
Before we get any further from...
Oh, we also have a shot of Ciri. We have a frame here. We have 2 frames. Oh, there's also a frame of Geralt. You were going to say?
Netflix just announced 2 new shows based on games.
Oh, yeah.
Well, technically it's one series, but it's 2 different shows.
Before we jump into that, there's... I don't know. Should I jump into anything in terms of the plot for season 2 or no?
No, let's just...
That's kind of spoilers.
Spoiler, but either way, let the... I was gonna say.
I'll leave this this article in the description if you guys want to check it out. But yeah, we'll expect season 2 next year, hopefully spring. But yeah, Netflix is adapting shows for other video games, and seeing the success for The Witcher, we could potentially see, and Castlevania, we could potentially see.
I do know the
successful.
I do know the art. Animation studio for Castlevania is working on, I believe it's Son of Zeus.
Yes.
Which is, as soon as I saw the
art,
I
thought they had a very similar art style.
It's the exact same company.
Yeah. If you haven't Blood of Zeus.
Blood of Zeus. There you go.
If you haven't checked out Blood of Zeus, not bad.
Yeah. I haven't seen it yet.
If
but
you're into Greek mythology, it's a pretty. We were watching it, Angel and Joey's house, like a week or 2 ago. During the week, but it's a pretty short watch. Not bad. I kind of hope it'll be renewed, considering like it was pretty good. In my opinion, I'm not gonna dive too much into it because you haven't watched it, and also I'm sure a lot of people haven't watched it. It's still really new. But it's Blood of Zeus on Netflix, and it's a Greek mythology. Sort of Netflix anime. It's a Netflix original that came out this year. Pretty impressive cast. Yeah, it just dropped like a few weeks ago. The first episode aired on October 27th. Yeah,
it's like right there.
It's brand new. But the first season is already out, and I think it's already been renewed for season 2. So that's pretty exciting. But it basically follows a son of Zeus. It's not Hercules, but it's a sort of adaptation. Yeah.
I do know that they're going to be... The same company does want to work on either probably Devil May Cry or Dead Space.
Those would both be interesting. There is already a Devil May Cry anime.
And a Dead Space movie. But...
Is there?
Yes.
I had no idea.
It's an anime. I believe it explains what happens between game 1 and 2.
Oh, I see. Okay.
But that's not the point. Netflix and Ubisoft announced Assassin's Creed, both live action and animated.
Well, hopefully, we remember what happened.
No, we don't.
Okay.
No.
I mean, I tend to forget it too.
No. What are you talking about? You want your kneecaps, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Everyone listening to this knows exactly what I'm talking about. If they ever...
Sorry.
So live action TV series. So Netflix is making multiple, Assassin's Creed shows. We have an Engadget article on this. Look at that. That's the Assassin's Creed logo. And,
yeah.
So let's see.
It's gonna be.
Yeah.
Oh, that's Hetzia.
Yes. So That's what I tell myself every night as I try to eradicate the memory of the live-action Assassin's Creed movie. Um, a better brain-wiping solution, perhaps, will be to watch Netflix's newly announced Assassin's Creed series. The streaming juggernaut has signed a deal with Ubisoft for multiple shows that explore the time-hopping saga. These include a live-action epic and an animated and anime adaptation. So 2 different animated adaptations. So they're likely going to have 2 different studios.
Oh.
An anime studio and an American animation studio. Or, say, a Western...
Western style.
Yeah, because it could be a Canadian, it could be a European. It could, yeah. So potentially 3 series under Assassin's Creed. And that... Who knows what that can be? Because Assassin's Creed at this point has explored so many different time periods and different aesthetics.
More likely, depending on how the actual live action, I think live action could be every season's a new time.
That could be something. It could be an adaptation of the games. It could follow the story
Of the original trilogy.
Yeah, the original trilogy. Desmond's family, Ezio's family.
I love that original like first trilogy.
Yeah, me too.
No, don't get me wrong. I haven't played the new ones, but they're not my cup of tea.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
because they turned RPG not into like a regular story element.
I can understand that. Assassin's Creed slowly became more about the gameplay than the story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But don't get me wrong. If you love it, you can play it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Not my cup of tea, but I'm pretty happy that Netflix is actually taking it to their hands because, as we saw, Castlevania did fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
They did fantastic with the Witcher series.
Yeah.
They're actually listening to their audience.
I will say Netflix is kind of approaching a sort of redemption arc because let's not forget of how they performed with like, the Full Metal Alchemist movie and you don't okay.
Never seen it.
You don't.
I know.
Netflix did have a few poorly performing adaptations of different anime and video games.
You just remind me of one, and I'm angry about it again.
Say it.
Death Note.
It's part of the conversation.
But they're actually listening.
Exactly, and with that in mind, there are other adaptations that are also coming, such as Avatar: The Last Airbender and Cowboy Bebop. They've already been announced and casted.
Remember, we can't have a golden era without the worst fucking era ever.
Yeah, damn. But I'm saying this specifically for Netflix because they've sort of become this big adaptation powerhouse in the last couple of years.
Right.
That they're now collaborating with so many different studios. They're arguably creating an influence as big as Disney, with just adapting to all these different areas in gaming and anime culture. And I find that very interesting too because it's a very niche genre, but it's also never been bigger.
Right.
It definitely makes sense because they're pulling on like nostalgia with like Cowboy Bebop and Avatar: The Last Airbender, but also pulling in on like bigger current things that have been going for a long time, like Assassin's Creed. The Witcher kind of plays in both areas. It's been around for a really long time, especially if you include the books. And it's really interesting how they're playing into this influence of getting into this subculture. And they're really putting the idea of adaptation to the test here because they're kind of adapting
anything.
Right?
I'm not saying that's bad, but there's a point where we're gonna hit a wall and we're like, why?
Or we've already hit the wall, and because I think because they've already had some bad adaptations and they've had some good ones afterwards.
But
so I think it's a learning curve.
Right.
And that says something about other studios that have been trying to do adaptations for a long time as well, i.e. Disney and Warner Brothers, that have been doing adaptations for 30 years, debatably longer.
I'm not expecting like a cinematic universe or anything at this point, but Netflix is trying.
Yeah, I think if any studio is to pick up something like this right now, Netflix has suddenly become the one to do it, and that's because they suddenly have the credibility with the performance they had on The Witcher and Castlevania.
You also can't forget that Netflix actually does have a lot of foreign films, so that's why a lot of it gets a lot of attention.
That's the other thing too, is that Netflix has sort of branched out into a much bigger platform, kind of similar to like YouTube, but in their own industry.
Right.
That it's really, they've branched out into the international parts of the industry. Now you can watch telenovelas on fucking Netflix.
Yeah.
Like officially, like
Yeah,
the real deal.
I know, because my mother has watched
Same thing in my house, dude.
all of them.
Oh my god.
She watched all of them.
My parents.
She's like, give me something. I'm like, I can't give you any of my shit because I know you don't like it.
Yeah, like my parents and my grandmother have been watching telenovelas on Netflix now, and Netflix is becoming the new TV and competing with YouTube, which leads me into my next topic with Netflix. Is apparently, and I heard this is only stretching out in Europe right now, that Netflix is creating an official channel where they will stream their shows on a schedule similar to cable, and it will not allow for fast forwarding or rewinding. Basically, just like cable. Although I don't think it's going to include advertisements, considering it be part of a subscription.
More likely it's gonna be like more likely it's like HBO.
Exactly, or like either that or Netflix is trying to. Let's try to pull this up. Either our Netflix would actually be launching an official channel that would be on cable, which would be an interesting. We're kind of going backwards. You know what I mean?
It's like Amazon making a bookstore.
Exactly.
You're the one thing that you swore to destroy.
Yeah, it's here we go. Like Netflix channel on Spectrum and Dish. Like,
why?
Oh wow. So there's already Netflix receivers on Dish. But that's not what I'm trying to find. Netflix channel. Yes, Netflix is testing a linear channel in France that should help with the decision. That should help with decision fatigue. So Netflix, I guess, is creating another option, because I can understand this to an extent, okay? Because streaming has now become the new norm, but we've also gotten a little too comfortable with it, especially with how Netflix has historically dropped entire seasons of their shows for binge watching. Like they're especially, you know, streaming has changed the pace of shows and how they're written. Because of how binge watching's become so common, you know.
Right.
It's not like back in the old days where if you watch a show, it comes out every week and it runs episodically. Especially with like kids shows or episodic shows, like say like Law and Order or CSI, where it's not totally linear. You know, every episode has a different conflict and resolution. Every episode is a different story. But with Netflix and Hulu and, you know, streaming platforms, that formula has pretty much died. With the exception of kids shows every now and then. And maybe storytelling shows like the revival of The Twilight Zone.
Right.
You know? And The Twilight Zone was one of the shows that pioneered that way back in the 60s, alongside shows with like I Love Lucy. Streaming has kind of gotten rid of that formula now, with binge watching becoming more common. So I think that this is Netflix's approach to curing show holes in binge watching. Maybe.
I don't know.
Well, because I can understand this, because on one hand, you know, streaming makes everything more convenient. You have all the shows you want to watch at the touch of your finger, especially with a VPN or with having, you know, multiple subscriptions. You have everything you ever want to watch, right?
Right.
And you never have to deal with advertisement unless, you know, you don't pay for it. You know, streaming gets rid of all the issues that cable had, but that doesn't mean that streaming does not come with its own issues.
Yeah.
Let's put it like it's like food, right? Like with snacks and junk food, you know, you could always have it whenever you want it. What?
No, just.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
No, I got you. Oh shit! Yeah, I didn't even notice. I didn't notice the time. But no, I think this is a pretty important discussion though, because this is the future of entertainment. You know, we kind of need to decide what we want. But like, let's put it this way. You know, when something is convenient, like food, you know, if you can get it whenever you want, as much as you want, without any interruption, you have whatever you want. You eventually overindulge, and the same thing happens with shows. You have everything you could ever want with no interruption. You eventually overindulge. You run out of shows. You know, you end up in a show hole. You don't know what you want to watch, or you end up binging everything, and there's no suspense anymore. It's not like
You ever done drugs?
Huh? Shut up, John. No, this is a good point, man. Are you kidding me? You don't see this? Really?
Not really.
Do you even watch TV?
I barely had time.
Okay, let's put it in this case. Can you imagine if every season that the Lightning played, you know who won the moment that it comes out? Every year.
Yeah.
Can you imagine that?
No.
That's what it is for TV now.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Is that it's you overindulge, you know, there's no more surprises anymore. And that's fine too, because then you have the freedom to, you know, go about watching at your own pace. But at the same time, it becomes really easy to run out of things to watch. Or it also gets really easy for writers and showrunners and streaming platforms to create shows that really only exist for you to watch entire seasons of, rather than enjoying a few episodes of, or they only exist for you to binge in one sitting rather than enjoying every week or every season.
Right.
And the suspense that comes with that. It's a different watching experience. It's a different experience of consuming media. And I think Netflix is trying to create more options for different types of people. Because they're saying that this channel, this linear channel, should help decision fatigue. And that's the fatigue of people running out of shows to watch, not knowing what they want to do, not knowing what they want to watch. You know? You ever hear, you know what this is? This is going to be a very relatable moment. All right? You ever sit down and have lunch, right? And you want to find something to watch, but you can't decide. So you're scrolling through. You know exactly what the fuck I'm talking about, bitch. You're scrolling through. You don't know what show you want to watch.
Stop looking at me.
Or what YouTube videos you want to watch. You don't know what you're in the mood for. You're trying to decide on something, and then you figure out which, you know, where you left off on whatever show, and then your food is already cold.
And then I'm already
sucks.
And then I run out of fucking time at lunch, so I have to stuff my face.
You don't even finish the episode, the thing you wanted to watch.
I didn't even get to actually finish the food. I end up fucking tossing it out.
Exactly. You end up wasting all this time on deciding what you want to watch when you can just turn on a channel that has exactly what you want to watch.
I'm gonna take your kneecaps after this.
I'm just saying, sometimes people don't always like freedom. You know, radical freedom is scary. Sometimes we need decisions made for us.
I don't want to be here anymore. I don't want to be here.
In the sense of shows, man. I'm not trying to get really, you know, preachy about it. But you're just sitting in there with you know, looking all judgmental. I'm like, bitch, I got an argument for you.
Fuck you.
Let's see what The Verge has to say about this. Netflix is testing a program linear content channel in France. Variety reported. The channel, called Netflix Direct, will be available on Netflix streaming subscribers, and will provide content from its existing streaming library in a linear format, much like cable and broadcast TV stations do. So it's basically TV, but it's only Netflix shows, kind of like, you know, TBS or CBS or, you know, like any network has their own shows, or like NBC, they have their own shows.
Right.
So here's a quote. Maybe you're not in the mood to decide, or you're new to finding your way around, or you just want to be surprised by something new and different, Netflix said on a statement announcing the new service. It shows France for the launch of Netflix Direct because traditional TV is hugely popular there, and people just want to lean back and experience where they don't have to choose shows, the company said. So apparently in France, cable and traditional TV is a lot more popular in comparison to how it is in the U.S., where it's actually not at all. Cable has pretty much died here, I feel like.
Yeah, especially with I want to say a little bit with the advertisement and stuff like that.
Yeah, and honestly, like, It's fine. I don't know. I don't have strong feelings on this, in spite of my argument. Like I understand it, but I don't know if it's necessary because cable already exists, right? It doesn't have Netflix shows, and according to this article from The Verge, this will be included in a Netflix subscription, which ideally people wouldn't have to pay extra for it, especially if they don't use it. Maybe if it does become a premium, it could be an optional one. Like they could have different tiers, similar to how Hulu does. But I don't know. On one hand, I'm like, it's kind of cool to give people the option to have a linear TV experience similar to traditional TV, but with Netflix shows. Now that Netflix is kind of its own big powerhouse of shows. They're their own network now, just like HBO or Showtime, or Disney Plus at this point. They're within that genre where they can compete in this area. YouTube is slowly trying to become the same thing with YouTube Premium and its exclusive content. YouTube ideally wants to become TV too, and I see Netflix kind of approaching that same strategy in that they want to be available for everyone, Right. Because some people still really like their cable. I don't get it because you get to watch commercials, and you don't get to choose what you want to watch. But I can understand the linear TV experience, because let's be honest. We run through shows really fast now.
Yeah.
Like 10 years ago, you would enjoy your season of a show for an entire season, 3 months of a show running for 24 episodes.
What was it? Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
Season 1 through 5, I got through it within 3 months just to actually catch up to watch the 1 month of season 6.
Right. Yeah. You would enjoy your show for at least a month to 3 months while it was running.
Every Sunday is like every week.
Yeah.
New episode.
You would tune into it. You would put it on DVR. I feel like if there's any children listening to this, they have no idea what the fuck I'm talking about.
So you ever just pull out your rack of VHS tapes?
Let's not go too far into that. I don't want to talk about it's a Friday night at Blockbuster and with your dad and times are good.
We just hey listen. We just finished printing out the coupon in color.
Oh shit! Come on.
In color. We went all out. I'll go in the Blockbuster queue, grab the fucking tube of sour fucking gel.
No, stop.
And then suck on the that, and then I'll walk
the candy gel tube.
And then I'll walk over to the gaming section. I'm like, I want that. He's like, no, you don't want to rent games. That's gay. Then I'm like, hey, can we get Live Free Die Hard? We watched it in theaters. I wanted to see it again. It came out today. They still don't have the DVD available.
I'm getting flashbacks of renting Star Wars Episode 3 and being disappointed over and over again, only to return it late. Anyway,
I watched that in theaters.
Yeah, I know. I could have, but I wasn't available that weekend.
I watched
back in shit. What year was that? 2005?
I want to say 2005. I was in Miami. We got exclusive tickets because it was limited showings.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It was
I understand people that like the slower pace of watching TV on cable. Because let's be honest, when you're watching TV on cable, it's a lot slower. You have time to get up and use the bathroom, get some snacks. But it's a more casual TV watching experience. Yes, it gives you less freedom of choice, but sometimes that's not what people want.
No, personally,
sometimes it's not necessary.
Right. But here's what I'm going to say. Personally, for me, it's not for me. But okay. I get that other people want that choice.
Yeah. No, I'll be honest. I'm probably not going to buy into this either.
Fuck no.
Because I'm mostly choosing what I want to watch anyway. Maybe if it's free with the Netflix subscription, which hopefully it is, and if not, it's just another tier that you have to pay for if you really want it, or a different option.
Or like our friend Angel, she normally has something in the background. She's not watching it. I get it for that.
Yeah, a lot of people will play stuff in the background noise. I do that a lot too. I'll typically do that with either a show that isn't linear, like Family Guy or something.
Right.
Or always do it with YouTube videos, whether it be informative or just memes.
You will think I'm a psychopath.
Maybe.
Sometimes when I'm on my computer, just I'll have my headphones on, reading with nothing playing. I sit in silence.
I normally actually read without noise.
No, which is weird because sometimes when I realize, hey, I'm not listening to anything, my mind was playing something on its own.
Well, yeah,
which is weird.
There's a different like bliss and experience to silence, and not everyone likes it. Sometimes you gotta be in the mood for it. I know I'm someone that's be in the mood for it. Like I don't like working in a quiet environment. I don't know why. I'm very selective of my background noise, though. I don't know why, but like I don't like working in a silent environment. Whenever I'm editing videos and photos and playing music in the background when I'm doing my color grading, or like I have something typically playing in the background whenever I'm doing my work. But if I'm reading or meditating, I need it to be silent. Occasionally, if I'm reading something and I want some music that'll immerse me more into what I'm reading, if I'm reading something fictional, or if I'm reading a graphic novel or comic book, then I might have some background music to go with the vibe. But I see where you're coming from though, where sometimes you need it quiet.
It's just it's weird.
Yeah. But I could also understand, like, I don't know, maybe I'm a centrist on the issue, but I can also understand people that need background noise at times. Like when I'm working, if I'm doing handiwork, especially like if I'm doing work around the house.
Yes, I need something like.
Yeah, you understand. There's different situations, and that also kind of applies to this. But I don't know. I honestly just hope that this is either an optional thing or a free thing. That's my main concern, because I don't care what people are watching. You know, if you prefer cable, you know, cool. Don't bother paying for.
I'm gonna be really honest. I cut cable out of my house.
I feel like I don't use cable anymore. That's the thing.
So
I'm one of those people too, where I just don't use cable anymore. I don't even think we still have it.
Yeah, but I get it because over there it's like cables everywhere.
Yeah, even for sports is being replaced by streaming. Some people keep cable for sports, and I can understand that.
Yeah.
This Netflix thing has nothing to do with that, because Netflix has nothing to do with sports. Hulu Live TV has sports, but not Netflix at all. This is really just if you like Netflix shows, but you don't want to choose what you're watching. So just to wrap this up, Netflix Direct rolled out in some parts of France November 5th. It's already out in France, and will expand to more parts of the country next month. According to Variety, Netflix is about 9 million subscribers in France already. Netflix has tested other alternatives to its standard streaming offerings, launching a shuffle button in August. That would be kind of cool, actually.
Huh.
A shuffle button. Imagine turning your shows like your music. That's not a bad idea. Especially if you can create a queue or a playlist. Okay. That's kind of cool. Come on. Imagine if you can make your own channel.
What I really want from Netflix is when I finish a show, it goes from my list to, hey, you completed this. Mm-hmm. So I don't have to manually take it off.
Yeah.
Saying that I watched it.
Yeah, sometimes their databases don't keep up with that very well. But that is a pretty cool. I do like how this can expand in different areas, different options for people, and how they go about watching. I don't know. Let us know in the comments in like any of these different issues we discussed in this episode. But we're about to wrap it up with just a few
reminders.
A few reminders and a few mentions from our sponsors. Firstly, with FNX, if you are someone who is into fitness culture and you need some high quality supplements, definitely check out FNX Fitness. Link will be in the description, and be sure to use offer code Phantastic15 to get 15% off your next purchase. FNX is a great supplement company, really high quality stuff in terms of pre-workout and protein, as well as they even have stuff for CBD, apple cider vinegar, and even Rebalance. They have all kinds of different supplements to serve your physical needs.
As well, we will be dropping a very special video for a upcoming item that we'll be presenting soon.
That's right. I was talking about that in the vlog today. We are going to be making some changes in the Phantastic production store coming next month. I'll be ready for a drop for a new product line on Black Friday on a brand new manufacturing quality. More news on that on my personal channel, Chris J. Lopez, as well as be sure to check out, be sure to follow John and I on Instagram at Phantastic_Chris
John.
and John H. Khan
Yeah, sure. I don't know.
on Instagram. Thank you so much for listening. Be sure to check out our Patreon. We are also sponsored by you, the viewer. If you are interested, definitely check out our Patreon where we have exclusive monthly content as well as an additional exclusive podcast and merch for our higher listed tiers. Thanks for listening. Be back in, I don't know, sometime next time.
Bye.